Alright, we've created a basic screen. Collision is just a solid for the ground. We're going to have prize collect. Prize collect is going to be this treasure chest. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me in this. The prize collect is going to be the treasure chest. And we're going to collect the treasure chest to warp to the next level. It's going to check if that tile has been collected or used up on the screen. Once there's none of it left on the screen, it warps you to the next level. The way it warps you to the next level after all this, it basically changes your player to go to warp, and then after they warp, it changes them back to state 0 when they get to that screen. So they change to another state, which is like your victory dance or whatever you do, and then you go to the next level. For now, before I change it, what I'm going to do is make a victory dance. Basically, duplicate of climb. Essentially, it's this. Just do 8 frames. Just do dippy 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 dee. Alright, I'm gonna set that up. I believe it's 6 it goes to. Something like that. Anyway, that should work for now by default, but not really. We still gotta do all this stuff before it's done. Alright, so I tried various methods of doing this for Fox Hunt during the 2020 light off. Unfortunately, it didn't work. So I created a post on the forum. So what I do is I tried to create a prize tile So there's my prize tile. It's just like a default prize tile, basically. I even made a video that basically solved it, but essentially, Dale Coop told me how to solve it. So what I did right here is I wrote everything down. I'm very grateful for his help. Um, so what he showed was you actually have to go in the do load collision table, which is in actually your game subroutines folder. So you want to make a backup of it. So we're going to do that first. Do load collision table. Let's make a backup. Alright, so let's check this out. Do load collision table. There's a whole lot of stuff here. Do load collision table subroutine. Alright. So under the start of the subroutine, you would want to put that down. So you can put it anywhere really. I put it right here. I just wanted to make sure it was the right one, right under here. So under there is where you'd want to put essentially anywhere you would see the store into the accumulator for temp C before you want to do any of this. You want to make sure you check this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and double check by searching for the find, store into temp C, find the next one. There's only two of them. Okay, double checked it. Just make sure. I wrote it down in the notes just in case that there are two. I just wanted to show you just in case you want to look for something like this. There, just put like two of them in there. You know what I mean? Like, just make it differentiate a little bit. So it says the next time you find it, do the thing. It should be only two of them. It says that we're missing the variable prize counter. So we're going to want to make that variable price counter. And once we're done, even though we don't have anything else, it should compile. But it's still not going to work properly. Because we never wrote it into the script. So now we're going to actually add it into the prize tile. Oh, did I even save it? Oops. And now we can double check it. Sorry about that. And make sure you always save your scripts. Very compiled. So the next step would be I made sure to make the script for this. But in the collectible you want to put this um before the end. So let's double check that in the script. Here's the included script. It's comparing it to the player. Not the player is the player. Jumped is not, or jumped to not. Goes all the way down here to the end. But if it is the player, change it, add the value, update the HUD. Increase the prize counter. Not all collected. Go here. But if all are collected, change the player to object or 6. State game state 6, 0, 6. And this was our default prize tile for the game. As you see, it's a lot different, but not really. It's a lot simpler. So we could basically just replace that with this. Doesn't really matter. All right, I think we could double check by compiling it. All right, it compiled. At least it compiled. think it said step 7. That's what I was using. 06 would be 7. But look, 06. So I guess we should do that for victory. Anyway, it's gonna make it so if you move though, takes you out of um that step, and if you're out of that step, then you won't warp. So we gotta fix that. Or if you get hit while you're in it, you die, or you're so vulnerable. You just have the no gravity thing at least going for you. So what we can do. All right, check your screen info. Warp in 212. Where are you standing now? Warp out 18. Now what you do is you double check. That's 18. The warp in should be 16. And just warp you back out to 11. So it's a big loop. Just to double check these screens out. So say you start here. Eventually it should warp, but we're going to double check and make sure that fixed. What you may have noticed is when I designed the player's victory, it had 8 frames. There's currently a bug with 8 frames. I haven't fixed the bug with 8 frames yet. I can. We're just not going to do that yet. That's another episode. So I just moved it down to 7 frames on the victory. So it should actually work with the 7 frame. But you see, as I moved, if you move, it really messes it up. So we're just going to try that again, just to show it works. Oh, try again. Might take a bit. There we go. Look, you go to this screen. And in the other episode, we set it up so when you press the A button on these warp tiles, this is the warp tile, like you press A over here and it's not going to do anything. If you press A in the warp tile, it's going to warp you. And now you're here. And then that warps you. As you see, it did add to the score. It's going to add to the score again. Alright, so we just got to fix the things like when you move, it messes it up. You could take damage. So we're going to have to fix all that really quick. Back in the subroutine folder, we're just going to get out of there, go to the games folder. So right there's your project. That's what I named mine. Look for common. That's where your player hurt script will be. Make sure you make a backup. Make sure you set it up if you edited the name, if you renamed it, or if you make a new script, or if you're using this script that I include in the downloads. Sorry, I forget where some of this stuff is located. Alright, and that's the script we're going to edit. Right here it is, can hurt player. Can hurt player says, normally it starts can hurt player, skip player, can hurt player, and then after under the can hurt player, it has all this stuff. See, there's the game handler. There's that. Check for it. Then there's check for victory. If it's not, skip hurt. Check for victory. When it goes to check for the victory, it checks. Make sure the action step. There's the action step for the player. Can hurt the player. Skip hurt. Can hurt player. All this stuff, it would actually be before all this. So it's replacing basically up to here. Including that line. So there's that line. There you go. And all it's doing is basically just checking. It's getting the action step of the player, checking if it's the victory step, and doing that like it would do in an input. So you can even check, like on your inputs, because you're gonna have to change these too. Your move left, your move right. You're gonna need to change those. So I wouldn't rename them. I would just back up the originals if you don't, trust the script edits. And then you're gonna wanna do it. The originals are probably in another backup folder anyway, because originally you copied everything into another folder. Um, so it might even be using the original ones, and then we might have to put these in anyway. Um, yeah, actually, let's double check that. That would be something. Just double check really quick. Input scripts. Where are these from? Move up and down are from here because we put those in another episode. But if you look, platformer base, platformer base, input scripts. And look, those are the platformer base. So if you made any changes here, it's not going to do anything. It's always good to check that. So let's rename it underscore your project's name. I do hope it's recording my voice, even though my voice is still scratchy. Or scratchier than usual. Alright, Nightmare Castle. 24. That's my project's name. These are going to be our new scripts. Alright, so if you look at these, I also have these scripts I included in the episode too. To move left and move right. The only difference is you see that because it's down here. And then it checks if you're climbing. This one checks if you're climbing too. So as you'll notice, it's basically just adding this in there to make sure it's checking your um action step, making sure it's not the victory action step. Then I wrote down, it's not victory. Check the other action steps. But if it is victory, RTS, which is bottom of the script, and it's also there, also here too. Which means just to return to the subroutine. If there's another subroutine running, it goes back out to that. Basically ends the check and doesn't do any of this stuff. If it's not doing any of those, it'll start doing this. So I don't see anything wrong with using this script. If you don't see anything wrong with using it, so I literally just copy it. Right over the script. And this script still isn't the script that you're looking for. You're gonna have to do the same thing with the right script. Um, it's essentially the same principles. It's getting the action step. It's tracking the action step. If it's not, keep going. If it is, do this thing. Does the same thing for 7. 7's usually what people put aside for their hurt action step or their dying animation. It says you want to do the following. You need to replace all these ones. Put that in the beginning of each file, like I was just showing basically, and it should work. I included all these files for these inputs. Right here. Change action jump, change action moving, stop. The player, the left, and the right. To stop moving. As you see, it's the same thing. It just checks for that. Checks for that one. Stops you moving. I don't know why that was edited. Oh, it wasn't. Okay. Oops, wrong folder. Anyway, hurt player. We already did the edit there. New load collision table. Jump, moving, change action to stop. Yeah, so basically, um, make it change to jump. Name your project. Just because you don't want to mistake it for another one. We can just leave the other ones the same. We're going to replace this one too. Essentially, it says to basically replace those scripts. And then if you warp into a regular screen, you might be perpetually stuck in action step 6 and just keep warping and warping and warping. If that's the case, you gotta change your timer end scripts. Change the warp to just the warp with the change action step between it and the RTS. So that's an easy edit. Before we set up the inputs, we could just do that really quick. Timer end scripts. You can look for go to warp right there. You can back it up if you really want to. It doesn't really matter. You know where the edit is anyway. Just change the action step of the player to 0 on a warp into a screen. Make sure you save it. So that should be that. Now you just would have to set up all your inputs. It's gonna take me a minute. So first, basically, you're gonna want to just get rid of the ones that you're not going to, or the ones you're going to be replacing. So we keep the var jump. Jump through plat, I believe we're replacing. Change action to jump. Hold on, let's go back to the inputs. Change action to jump. Okay, I'm assuming that's the jump through plat. I gotta double check that. I'm curious. Checks it and changes your action to jump. Okay. Not the fire jump. It's not the jump through platform. Okay. Didn't know that was even a thing. I remember it was even a thing. Anyway, so we gotta look for that one. I'm guessing he doesn't even have a script in here to change to jump, so we don't have to really remove it. Anyway, move right's getting gone. Move left, we're gonna remove. Change action to moving. Think. Why is that not on the list? Stop moving. Move left, move right. Change to moving. Alright, there we are. Right. Change action to stop, just double check everything. Change to stop, change to jump, etc. etc. Stop moving. You can keep the jump through plat. You can keep the very jump. Ladder up, ladder down. Move up, move down. Now you're going to want to go through here and get rid of a whole bunch of stuff. And move right, the move left, all this stuff you're going to want to get rid of, but you want to know what it is first. So you can either right now take a screenshot or you can just replace it as you're going. So like right now, I would want to replace that one, etc., etc. So you first need to put in your scripts. Now we labeled the scripts, so they're pretty much easy to remember. We got the change to jump, the change to moving, change to stop. These are already fine. We don't need to add them in. They're not added in currently because they're using the default. You'll notice the up and down aren't on this list because they're included. We already included them. Alright, the jump through plat, that can stay. The very jump, you don't need to get that. The stop moving, you're going to want to put that in there. The move right, the move left. You can double check them. And then we're going to put them in. So, main game, hold right, player, move right, add script. Do the same for move left. Hold left, script, move left. You could delete these as you go, because you're going to have to. Just be careful you pick the right one and stuff. Change action to moving when you press right. Change to moving. Do the same for left. Press left. Change action to moving. Delete those after you're done. You're going to release right. Change action to stop. Release right. Change to stop. Add script. Same with left. Release left. Change to stop. Delete those. Release right. Stop moving. So it's the same thing, just a different script that works with the other one. Release right. Stop moving. Release left. Stop moving. Delete those. Jump through platform, keep that one. Fairy jump, keep that one. Climb ladder up, keep that. Climb ladder down, keep that. Move right on the overworld. That's a base script. You could still keep that if you want, but then you're using two scripts because you're using a reference and you took out a script. This script works just as well. So you're going to want to copy that one. So we're going to do hold right, overworld map. You see, we changed that. All right. I change the one to move right. Same thing with left. The overworld map, hold. You're going to change this to move left. You can delete these now. Press right, change action to moving. Press left, change action to moving. These are both on the overworld map. Release right. Change to stop. Release left, change to stop. These are both on the overworld. Delete them. Release right on the overworld map. Stop moving. Release left on the overworld map. Stop moving. Double check and delete those. Keep these two. These two, hold up and hold down. Press up, press down. The release up, the release down. The release up, release down. Stop moving. Keep all of those. So you get down here. You double check. Yes, these are all the ones we just added. We should be done. You test the game compiles. Scripts work. You're moving, jumping. Can't move, you warp to the next level. It looks like it's not moving left or right now for some reason on the screen. going to have to double check that one.